Question is asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? That's a question what does not bring clarity. You would think it does, because everybody asks that question, and even them they ask their children the question, they ask themselves that question, and that's a very common question. But the thing is, with that question, it doesn't bring clarity, it doesn't bring out the truth, and many times people go down a path they didn't want. So they choose something even though it's not what they want it to be. And if they do learn about it and begin to do something like that, it's not what they want to know. They'll fail because they don't want to do it. Also fail, they could fail anyway because they're learning, but uh, a lot of times they won't become whatever they chose. If they do, they'll hate their job or their profession or whatever they got because they became it and it's not what they had wanted to become. So the question has to be asked in another way so that you get the clarity and the truth. Without the truth, there's a very difficult, if any, success. The truth, then you will get success. Uh, you know, it doesn't matter how difficult something is, if the truth is not there, it it seems impossible. If you have something very simple and the truth is not there, it's more difficult than it would have been when the truth was there. And now you have the clarity of what you want, what you enjoy, and what you want to become, and you have the truth. It doesn't matter how difficult it is, you will find a way to succeed, and you will succeed because the truth is there, and that's why you'll keep going until you do succeed. Without the truth, there isn't enough drive or desire or passion for success. If you're, for example, if you're pleasing your parent, they want you to become this, and then when you're choosing in school or the and when you're choosing to learn what profession or what you want to do and things like that, you're always choosing what your parents wanted you to choose. So your parent had wanted you to become this profession, so you're choosing that even though you don't want it. And so if you don't want it and you're still choosing it, then there's no truth in there. And because of that, it's going to be a very difficult way to learn something you don't want to learn or do. So it will be a difficult road or difficult way to go about things. And then once you finally become and you are in that profession or that what the field what your parents wanted you to be, you won't enjoy it. And that's why I see and that's why I believe there's so many people who not only dislike their job, they actually hate their job. And that is because they're doing something they don't want to be doing. And that doesn't mean a job is bad. Jobs can be good as long as you're doing what the job you want to be doing. So then then people have this idea, okay, well, what should we do? Do we just quit our job and then we have no job? Well, you don't have to quit your job first. First find the job you want. And before you can find the job you have to know what you want. And as an adult, it will be difficult to know because what you actually had wanted to be, you have you dropped it. Like you didn't pursue it at all. Like and the ones you loved and the ones you looked up to uh, didn't believe in it, and that's why you dropped it and just went with what they wanted you. Well, who has the best interest in you? And you would think it's your loved ones, and you'd be surprised that it would be you. When it comes really down to it, your loved ones or anyone else, society, even the kind people, when comes right down to it, who they have to care about the most or make a choice, they'd end up choosing themselves. It's surprising, and I guess it depends on the situations. I think when it comes to a young child and you're being the parent, it depends on the parent. That doesn't make a difference of male or female. It depends on the personality or their interest or even their attachment to the child. Um, there, if it was just an impulsive reaction, most parents would put the child first. So, for example, um, I don't know what to use exactly for an example, but there, when something happens too extreme and too quickly, for myself anyway, my impulse would be to save my child first, even if that put me into risk. Um, and I think that happens to a lot of parents because just for, well, you have an attachment, and that's not just that you have bonded with the person, it's actually your own child, so it's also the understanding and principle. Um, and then there's the bonding and things like that. So there would be the exception of where that you'd end up putting and caring about the next person more than yourself in a situation, something like that. That doesn't mean all parents. I think all parents do love their children. All parents don't put their child first, though. Even though they say they do, or things like that. I I guess there's different situations, but some parents they put their children up for adoption, and I'm sure there's many different reasons for that. Um, and some didn't want, like abortions, maybe. I don't know. And I guess that's a whole touchy subject I don't want to get into. And then there's some parents that'll just walk away on their child. And things like that I don't understand because I'm not that kind of person. And I can't really speak about those things because I'm not that kind of person and I can't understand it. Someone who can do that probably has another understanding which I don't have, and that's why they're able to do something like that. Um, so anyway, that's getting away from the goals and clarity and what you want to become. Now, there's a lot of professions what are not realized, and to some people they do get realized because they cannot be ignored. As much as you want to ignore it, it can't be. So there has been some, let's say for example, a YouTuber. they make videos and they do really well. And even though it's not like a profession that they're just jumping off of stuff, skateboarding and doing their silly pranks and making some noise and whatever they're doing, and they're making a video while they're doing it, right? And they become very successful. Now, a lot of professions or professionals would say that's not a profession, and if nothing else, they'll be irritated by this person who is a YouTuber and successful in it. And he might be cocky and silly and things like that. And the professional would be trying to get him to stop. They'll speak negative of him. Who knows what all. I'm not saying all professionals would be that way, but there are some who cannot see that as a profession. And when they would see an actor, a producer, right, things like that, they would see it as a profession. They would have respect for them as well. And especially if they're making millions of dollars per movie, right? Well, this YouTuber, surprisingly enough, can be making that same kind of money.